Welcome to an exciting journey through the hidden secrets of Hollywood, where appearance and luxury were everything, but the true lives of the stars remained in the shadows. In this video, we will unveil the stories of forbidden love, hidden relationships, and the deepest secrets of 30 of the most iconic figures from the golden age of cinema. From the enigmatic relationship between Tracy and Katherine Hepburn to the secret romances of Marlene, Dietrich, and Freddie Mercury, we invite you to explore the more intimate and lesser-known side of these entertainment legends. Join us on this journey through the glamour and mystery that defined a golden era where the true luxury was keeping the truth well hidden. Number 1. Tracy and Katherine Hepburn beyond friendship. Tracy, one of the biggest celebrities in Hollywood during his heyday, lived a life full of contradictions. Despite having 2 children from a previous marriage, Tracy never divorced his wife Louise, keeping a significant distance in their relationship. This estrangement was largely due to his staunch Catholic background, which kept him tied to a marriage that was effectively broken. Tracy's private life included stays at director George Cukor's home, where he reportedly had extramarital relationships with young men, contrasting with his public image with Katherine Hepburn, who shared 25 years with him and also kept secrets. During these periods at Cukor's house, it was rumored that Tracy was having extramarital affairs with several of these young men, relationships that sharply contrasted with the public image of his relationship with Katherine Hepburn. The latter, who shared 25 years of her life with Tracy, was a figure who, like him, kept her own secrets. Larry Kramer said Tracy and Hepburn were gay. Their bond was friendly, not romantic. Scotty Bowers, a known pimp, said Hepburn asked for introductions to dark-haired young men, whom she met briefly. The connection between the two, though deep and enduring, appears to have been more friendly than romantic, a necessary facade at a time when Hollywood stars were expected to conform to strict social norms. Scotty Bowers says Hepburn often met young, dark-haired men briefly. Tracy and Hepburn's romance might have been a cover. Bowers recalls Tracy, who after whiskey asked not to be left alone while undressing. The relationship between Tracy and Hepburn may have been a strategy to protect their identities. Bowers describes Tracy as kind but tormented by forbidden desires and a need for a spotless image. Bowers also recalls his encounters with Tracy, where the actor, after drinking large amounts of whiskey, would ask him not to leave him alone while he undressed. These experiences left an indelible mark on Bowers, who describes Tracy as a kind man but tormented by his forbidden desires and the need to maintain a spotless public image. These encounters, although unknown to most, were part of a web of relationships and connections that Tracy kept secret throughout his life, showcasing the complexity of a public figure caught between his personal desires and the social expectations of the time. Number 2. Walter Pidgeon and the double life of a respected star. Walter Pidgeon, a renowned actor during Hollywood's golden age, is a figure who, like many other stars of his time, lived caught between the public image he projected and the secrets he hid in his private life. At first glance, Pidgeon seemed to embody success and respectability, but beneath that facade lay a very different reality. In 1946, Pidgeon met Scotty Bowers, a young former Marine who worked at a gas station on Hollywood Boulevard. This meeting would mark the beginning of a clandestine relationship between the two, in which Pidgeon invited Bowers to participate in sexual encounters at a secluded residence away from prying eyes. These encounters weren't sporadic. In fact, they became a routine for Pidgeon, who discreetly paid Bowers $20 for each session. However, the story doesn't end there. Pidgeon not only kept these encounters a secret, but he also introduced several of his gay friends to the services that Bowers provided. Bowers, known for his discretion and ability to organize meetings without raising suspicion, quickly earned a reputation in Hollywood as the go-to guy for keeping the darkest secrets of the stars under wraps. This network of encounters, which was initially exclusive to Pidgeon, expanded as Bowers began to include people of various sexual orientations, offering companionship and sex to those who desired it. Pigeon's private life, hidden behind a public image, reveals his contradictions and Hollywood's pressure. He struggled internally, caught between identity and expectations. His story reflects the tensions public figures faced, sacrificing authenticity. Despite his success on screen, Pigeon lived in a constant internal struggle, caught between his true identity and the social expectations that forced him to lead a double life. His story is a clear reflection of the tensions and challenges that many public figures faced during that time, where success and social acceptance often required sacrificing personal authenticity to avoid public condemnation. Number 3. Cesar Romero, the Joker who hid his true self. Cesar Romero, the Joker in 1960s Batman, was a star who kept part of his identity hidden. Despite his fame, Romero kept his sexual orientation private. His physical attractiveness and undeniable charisma made him a star capable of embodying memorable characters and winning the affection of the public. However, despite his fame and success, Romero never publicly revealed his sexual orientation, choosing to keep a low profile regarding his private life. This decision wasn't casual. It was a response to the social norms and expectations imposed by the entertainment industry during that time. Despite his discretion, his closest friends and colleagues in the film industry knew the truth about his homosexuality. However, this fact never became public knowledge during his lifetime, thus protecting his career from possible negative repercussions. In a Hollywood that still viewed homosexuality with disdain and rejection, Romero understood that his survival in the industry depended on his ability to carefully separate his personal life from his professional career. His ability to manage both facets of life shows his intelligence, yet highlights the difficulties actors of the Golden Age faced. Cesar Romero's case shows how the entertainment industry was both a haven and a prison for those who couldn't live openly. Romero had to hide fundamental aspects of himself. Cesar Romero's case shows how the entertainment industry is both a refuge and a trap. Though successful, Romero hid his true self to avoid marginalization and losing job opportunities. This duality defined Romero's life. Despite his success and popularity, Romero was forced to hide fundamental aspects of his being to avoid being marginalized or losing the job opportunities he had worked so hard to achieve. This duality, between the man everyone knew and the man he truly was, defines much of Romero's life. Cesar Romero's story shows resilience. He left a mark on culture. His legacy reminds us of Hollywood's complexities. Throughout his career, despite the challenges, Romero managed to leave an indelible mark on popular culture, not just through his memorable performances, but also as a symbol of the silent struggle of those who, in search of professional acceptance, sacrificed their personal freedom. Her legacy endures as a reminder of the complexities of life in Hollywood, where the stars behind their smiles and applause often faced internal battles that remained hidden from the world. Number 4. Greta Garbo, Hollywood diva. Greta Garbo, a legendary figure in Hollywood during the 1920s and 30s, left an indelible mark for her talent. Swedish-born Garbo became a Hollywood star with her magnetic presence and emotional depth. At her career's peak, she shocked the world by quitting acting and public life at 35. Born in Sweden, Garbo rose to the peak of fame in Hollywood thanks to her magnetic presence and her ability to convey deep emotions with apparent ease. However, at the height of her career, she made a decision that shocked the world. She gave up acting and public life when she was just 35 years old, leaving behind a brilliant career. 1. Her life was enigmatic. Garbo had relationships, but never married. Her letters showed disdain for marriage. She saw marriage as a trap, defying norms and enhancing her independent image. His letters, which have been the subject of study and speculation, reveal a clear disdain for the idea of marriage, reflecting his complex feelings toward relationships and intimacy. For Garbo, marriage seemed like a trap she wasn't willing to accept, a view that contradicted the social norms of the time and further fueled her image as an independent and reserved woman. Garbo's bisexuality, while never publicly confirmed, was an open secret among Hollywood's elite, a place where her beauty and charisma attracted both men and women. One of the most notable romances in her life was with actress Marlene Dietrich, a relationship that, while always surrounded by rumors and speculation, was never confirmed by either of them. This romance, like many other aspects of her life, was shrouded in deliberate silence. Garbo, true to her reserved nature, chose not to discuss her private life, a decision that not only preserved her privacy, but also intensified the fascination and mystery surrounding her. Why? Garbo's legacy is not limited to her impressive film career. It also includes the way she handled her personal life. Her choice to keep silent about her private life, instead of confronting the press or the public with lies, was a bold decision that allowed her to maintain her autonomy in an industry that often invaded the privacy of its stars. This choice, while granting her the peace she desired, also contributed to the creation of an enigmatic image that has endured over time, solidifying her status as one of Hollywood's most mysterious figures. Greta Garbo's life is a powerful reminder of the complexities and contradictions that women faced in Hollywood, especially those who achieved fame. In an era when public expectations about the private lives of stars were relentless, Garbo, with her determination to maintain a delicate balance between fame and privacy, successfully navigated a world that demanded total transparency from its icons. Her story not only highlights her undeniable talent, but also her courage to live on her own terms, a feat that sets her apart as one of the most enduring legends in film history. Number 5. Marilyn Monroe, the Hollywood siren with secrets beneath the surface. Marilyn Monroe, undoubtedly one of Hollywood's most iconic figures, is remembered for her iconic image as a man-eating siren, a reputation that solidified throughout her career and remains an integral part of her legacy. However, behind that glamorous and seductive facade, Monroe was a deeply complex woman whose personal life was filled with nuances and contradictions that surprised many of her contemporaries. Although her public image portrayed her as the epitome of heterosexual femininity, Monroe also explored her sexuality in ways that challenged the expectations of the time. Throughout her life, Monroe maintained passionate relationships not only with men, but also with women, including such prominent figures as Elizabeth Taylor and Joan Crawford. Her romance with Crawford, though brief, was particularly intense and revealing of the tumultuous nature of their relationships. In her final months, Monroe confessed to her psychiatrist that she had had a sexual encounter with Crawford, who, fascinated by the experience, asked her to repeat the adventure. However, Monroe, distrusting Crawford, decided not to continue the relationship, a decision that apparently provoked resentment from Crawford, who was known for being demanding and vindictive when she felt someone had betrayed her. This choice, according to those who knew Monroe, was wise given Crawford's strong and possessive nature. Monroe's identification as bisexual was an aspect of her life that surprised many of her co-workers and close friends, who had no idea about her inclinations. Despite her fame as a heterosexual sex symbol, Monroe revealed in private conversations with co-director John Negulescu that she had never experienced an orgasm with a man, highlighting the dissonance between her public image and her personal experiences. This revelation is especially significant as it demystifies Monroe's figure as just a simple object of male desire and shows the depth of her dissatisfaction in her intimate relationships with men. Number 6. Marlene Dietrich, the pioneer of bisexuality at the heart of Hollywood. Marlene Dietrich, one of the boldest and most groundbreaking figures of Hollywood's golden age, not only stood out for her impressive acting talent, but also for her love life, which openly challenged the gender and moral norms of her time. Dietrich became a symbol of sexual freedom. She wore men's clothing. This challenged gender norms and empowered women. Her open bisexuality made her a pioneering public figure. She often wore trousers and tuxedos, garments that in her time were reserved exclusively for men. This choice of wardrobe defied the conventions of women's fashion and made her a symbol of empowerment. Dietrich's bisexuality was evident and unapologetic, making her one of the first public figures to openly embrace her sexuality. She had affairs with iconic figures like the French singer Edith Piaf and the Swedish actress Greta Garbo. Though both were discreet, their bond was often discussed. Her love life included romances with iconic figures like the French singer Edith Piaf and the Swedish actress Greta Garbo. The romance between Dietrich and Garbo is one of the most discussed and fascinating in the history of Hollywood. Although both maintained a discreet silence on the subject, the bond between them became a recurring theme in conversations about the private lives of movie stars. This silence only fueled the speculation and mystery surrounding their relationship, adding an additional layer of intrigue to the already complex figure of Dietrich. Dietrich defied norms in sexuality and gender, becoming an LGBT icon. In a time of stigmatized homosexuality and rigid gender roles, she lived authentically, inspiring future generations to embrace their true selves. In a time when homosexuality was looked down upon and gender was strictly binary, Dietrich broke molds and lived by her own rules. Her refusal to conform to the expectations of society at the time, both in her personal life and in her career, positioned her as a pioneer, paving the way for future generations who would seek the freedom to be themselves in a world that often demanded the opposite. Number 7. Freddie Mercury, the artistic genius who kept his secrets until the end. Freddie Mercury, the charismatic frontman of the iconic band Queen, is remembered for both his amazing musical talent and his personal life shrouded in mysteries. With a vocal range of 4 octaves. 1. With his electrifying stage presence, Mercury became one of the most influential and beloved figures in the history of rock music. However, behind his unmatched ability to captivate the audience, Mercury lived a personal life full of complexities and secrets. Throughout his life, he kept his homosexuality a secret, a decision that not only defined his relationship with the world wide, but also his legacy. Mercury's sexuality was known, but he never addressed it, letting his music speak, preserve his privacy in a prejudiced era, silence his identity, missing open living in an admiring yet unaccepting world. This choice allowed him to preserve a certain level of privacy, something especially valuable at a time when homosexuality was still viewed with prejudice and discrimination. But this silence also meant that he had to hide an essential part of his identity, sacrificing the possibility of living openly in a world that admired him, but at the same time was not ready to accept his truth. This internal conflict is emblematic of the struggles that many public figures in the LGBT community faced, especially during the 70s and 80s, when the visibility of sexual minorities was practically non-existent in mainstream media. Mercury's private life, marked by relationships with both men and women, reflects not only the complexities of being a public figure, but also the intense pressure he faced to maintain an image that aligned with the expectations of his time. Mercury's decision not to speak openly about his sexuality allowed him to protect his career and personal life from public intrusion, but it also isolated him, forcing him to live a life divided between his true self and the public image he had to maintain. Mercury's death in 1991 devastated fans and the music world. It marked the end of a legendary career and an era of hidden identities due to societal stigma and discrimination. His passing not only marked the end of a legendary career, but also the close of an era in which many public figures were forced to hide their true identities to avoid the stigma and discrimination that prevailed in society. Number 8. Cary Grant, the heartthrob who lived between image and reality. Cary Grant, one of the most recognized and admired heartthrobs in Hollywood, embodied the sophistication, charm, and masculinity that defined the icons of classic cinema. With his impeccable physical attractiveness and undeniable acting talent, Grant became an international star, adored by audiences around the world. However, behind this carefully cultivated image of a womanizer lay a complex and in many ways contradictory private life that has only recently begun to come to light. Throughout his career, rumors persisted suggesting that Grant was in a romantic relationship with fellow actor Randolph Scott. These rumors, which circulated for decades, described a relationship that was reportedly carefully hidden not only by Grant but also by Hollywood studios, which feared that revealing his sexual orientation could irreparably damage his career. In fact, Grant and Scott shared a home for several years, a living arrangement that raised suspicions and became the subject of speculation in the entertainment industry. Despite these rumors, Grant never publicly addressed the nature of his relationship with Scott, and the truth about their bond remains a mystery to this day. However, her story highlights the relentless pressures faced by stars of Hollywood's golden age, who were often forced to live parallel lives. On one hand, they presented the public with a carefully constructed image that conformed to social norms, while on the other, they kept fundamental aspects of their identity a secret, fearing that their career and reputation could be destroyed if the truth were known. Grant married 5 times throughout his life, which apparently reinforced his public image as a man in love with women. However, behind these unions was a life marked by a constant tension between her need to conform to social expectations and her true identity. The duality of his existence reflects the complexities and contradictions that define the lives of many actors of his time, who had to navigate between their personal lives and the demands of an industry that did not tolerate deviation from established norms. The story of Cary Grant and Randolph Scott is emblematic of how Hollywood stars often found themselves caught between the image that was expected of them and the reality of their personal lives. This dilemma was particularly acute at a time when sexual diversity was not accepted and any deviation from the norm could mean the end of a career. Grant, like many of his contemporaries, chose to protect his privacy at all costs, which allowed him to maintain his star status, but at the cost of living a life in the shadow of his own truth. Despite constant rumors and speculation, Grant has never confirmed or denied his relationship with Scott, and the true nature of their bond remains a subject of debate and fascination. This uncertainty highlights the enormous pressures and challenges faced by public figures of the time who wished to live authentically in a world that did not readily accept sexual diversity. In this sense, Cary Grant's life is a reflection of the internal struggles that many stars had to face, caught between their desire to be true to themselves and the need to maintain an image that met the expectations of an audience that wasn't ready to accept the complexity of their identity. Number 9. Joan Crawford, the Hollywood diva with a complicated love life. Joan Crawford, one of the most iconic actresses of Hollywood's golden age, is remembered not only for her stunning screen presence and unmistakable style, but also for the complexity of her personal life, especially regarding her love relationships. Crawford stood out for her ability to portray strong and determined women on screen, but behind that public image was a love life that has been the subject of speculation and rumors for decades. Although Crawford was famous for her romances with powerful men in the film industry, she also had relationships with women, including notable figures like Marilyn Monroe and Barbara Stanwyck. According to various reports circulating in Hollywood circles, Crawford's bisexuality, although never officially confirmed, was an open secret among those who knew her well. In particular, her relationship with Marilyn Monroe was intense, though brief, and was marked by a mix of passion and distrust. According to confessions from Monroe herself, she decided not to continue her romance with Crawford due to the fear inspired by Joan's demanding and vengeful nature, as she was known for not easily forgiving betrayals. This aspect of Crawford's life not only reveals the complexity of her personal relationships, but also her ability to keep her private life carefully separated from public scrutiny, a feat in a world where appearances and social expectations dictated every move of the stars. Throughout her career, Crawford demonstrated a remarkable ability to navigate the complex expectations of society, maintaining a public image of a glamorous star while hiding the more intimate aspects of her personal life. His ability to manage these two facets of his life with such skill is a testament to his intelligence and cunning, especially in an era when any deviation from the norm could end a successful career. Crawford, like many of her contemporaries, lived a life marked by luxury, glamour, and constant media scrutiny, but also by a deep loneliness, used in the need to hide her true identity to protect her career and reputation. Joan Crawford's story is a clear reflection of the contradictions and challenges faced by women in Hollywood, who often had to sacrifice their authenticity for the sake of success and social acceptance. Despite her carefully crafted public image, Crawford led a private life that contradicted the expectations of society at the time. This duality between the public persona and her true self shows the struggle many stars faced. Crawford kept her private life hidden, managing relationships discreetly. This secrecy reflects the pressure women in Hollywood faced to meet social expectations, even when they conflicted with their true selves. Throughout her career, Crawford was able to keep her private life away from the public spotlight, managing her relationships with a mix of cunning and discretion. However, this ability to keep their secrets also reflects the constant pressure women in Hollywood face to conform to societal expectations, even when those expectations went against their true selves. The life of Joan Crawford, with all its complexities and contradictions, is a testament to the strength and resilience of a woman who, despite the difficulties, managed to maintain her status as one of the great divas of used cinema while navigating the treacherous waters of a love life that should remain hidden. Number 10. Rock Hudson, the icon who kept his true identity in the shadows. Rock Hudson, one of the most popular and attractive figures in Hollywood during the golden age of cinema, stood out not only for his undeniable acting talent but also for his impressive screen presence. With a career marked by performances in romantic films and dramas, Hudson managed to seduce the audience with her beauty and charisma, becoming a true cinema icon. Hudson hid a secret life, revealed posthumously, living in fear of exposure. In his era, being openly gay was unthinkable, especially for a star like Hudson. To quell rumors, Hudson married Phyllis Gates, a public facade to protect his career. Despite his success, Hudson lived in a time when being openly gay was practically unthinkable, especially for a star of his caliber. In an attempt to silence rumors about his homosexuality, Hudson married Phyllis Gates, a marriage that, although public, was actually a facade designed to protect his image and career. However, this marriage didn't change Hudson's reality, as he continued to secretly maintain relationships with men, fiercely guarding his private life from the prying eyes of the public and the media. One of the longest-lasting romances in Hudson's life was with stockbroker Lee Garlington, whom he met shortly after his divorce in 1962. This relationship, although discreet and away from the spotlight, lasted several years and is a clear testament to the double life that Hudson was forced to lead. His need to hide his true identity was a direct response to the social and professional pressures of an industry that not only did not accept sexual diversity but actively condemned it. Hudson, like many public figures of his time, lived caught between his desire to be authentic and the need to maintain an image that met society's expectations. Hudson's life, marked by on-screen success and a constant struggle to maintain her privacy, ended tragically in 1985 when she died of complications related to AIDS. His death ended a notable career and shifted views on homosexuality and AIDS's impact on the LGBT community. Hudson was among the first public figures to die from AIDS. Hudson was one of the first public figures to die from this disease, making him a symbol of both the tragedy of AIDS and the struggles and challenges faced by LGBT individuals, particularly those who, like him, lived in secrecy during Hollywood's golden age. Hudson's case is emblematic of the struggles faced by those who wanted to live authentically in a world that forced them to hide. His life was a constant battle between his true identity and the demands of a society that wasn't ready to accept diversity. Despite his professional success, Hudson lived with the constant fear that his secret would be revealed, which could have destroyed not only his career but also his personal life. This fear was shared by many other public figures of the time, who, like Hudson, were forced to lead hidden lives, sacrificing their authenticity for the sake of social acceptance. In retrospect, Rock Hudson's story not only reminds us of the personal struggles he faced, but also highlights the evolution in public perception of homosexuality and AIDS. His death helped to humanize a disease that, at the time, was stigmatized and poorly understood, and his legacy continues to inspire those who fight to live authentically in a world that often demands conformity. Through his life and death, Hudson became a symbol of resilience and courage, leaving a legacy that continues to resonate in the fight for equality and acceptance in modern society. These stories reveal a Hollywood where appearances and luxury hid complex and secret lives, at a time when being authentic could mean the end of a career. These iconic figures teach us about the struggles they faced to preserve their privacy and keep shining on screen. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the best-kept secrets of the era, Hollywood's golden age. Don't forget to subscribe for more surprising revelations about the world of cinema.